Hi, my name is Tammy Moses, and I am a clutter-free coach with Homes for Living. And I wanted to give an overview quickly of a series that we are starting in January. And it is the Hoarding Recovery Education Series. And there are 8 different topics that we will cover in that series. It would be emailed to someone in the video. We would email you videos and some additional information throughout that 8-week time period. And the topics that we would cover are as follows: the value of you, harm reduction goals, organizing your mind, categorizing your stuff, sorting it out, celebrate your success, you can do this, and staying on track long term. In addition, there is a bonus ebook called 30 Days of Personal Value that would be included if someone wanted to be a part of this program. And I'll just say briefly, the website is homeserforliving.com, and I'm also on Facebook and on LinkedIn. So I would really enjoy connecting with anyone who might be interested in talking more about how to work on recovering from a hoarding situation. And I find there's a lot of value in anyone in a hoarding situation finding out that they have value outside of the stuff. So for someone who has a hoarding issue, there's often a lot of trauma that is causing that hoarding to occur. And I look at it like an iceberg. So what you can see on the surface is the tip of the iceberg. Whatever the stuff is in the home or on the property, that is just the tip of the iceberg. Underneath that is likely someone who has been traumatized at some point in their life, and they may have been re-traumatized throughout their life, and that is causing the hoarding to become more of an issue. I have seen where a person did not have a hoarding issue, or there may have been a tendency, but it wasn't triggered until something happens, like the death of the child or the death of the spouse or some other loss. It could be a breakup, it could be a divorce, it could be your parent passed away and now you're dealing with these extra items that you bring into your house. Someone else may pass away, you bring in more items, and it just becomes a really overwhelming situation. So there's a lot of benefit in looking at how can you have personal value without being attached to items. So part of this 8-week program I was talking about is to look at how can you be more okay with your value, no matter what situation you're in, or no matter how much stuff you have or don't have. The other aspect that I want to address here is if you are the child of a hoarder, whether you live with them now or you did live with them, or if it's something that became an issue many years after you no longer live there, there's still a really difficult situation when you are the child of that person. And for a moment, I just want to talk about that child, that whether they're a minor or an adult or anywhere in between, that it can be an enormous challenge to be that kid. And you may have not had the things you needed when you were growing up. You may have chosen to leave that home very early on because of the hoarding. And you may have actually a very challenging time now connecting with someone who caused a lot of pain for you in your life before. So I just want to focus on the fact that there are people in these situations, whether it's the person that hoards, whether it's the person who grew up in it or is now a child that's trying to deal with a hoarding parent. It is so difficult and challenging because often the person with the hoarding issue doesn't perceive there is a problem. And other people that can definitely see that there is an issue going on. And it's such a difficult thing to be a kid and realize that that relationship that you didn't have, you're still not going to have it because of that hoarding situation. So there's a real need for more understanding and education around this issue. I personally have experienced someone telling me, well, actually a lot of someone telling me that it was my responsibility to take care of a hoarded property that had been that way for years. And I have neighbors of my mother, as well as church groups, who have come in and thought that they could solve the problem by just cleaning up, and discovered that was not going to happen that way. And so there's also a lot of work that needs to be done around how to help in these situations, because removing this stuff is not actually something that actually solves the problem as you think it might. So there's a real need to understand better about what exactly hoarding is and what exactly is the best way to do that. And so my purpose and my goal is to share my story, what it was like to grow up in a hoarded home, and to help other service providers also understand what hoarding actually is. Gamut from church groups to social service workers to agency providers of housing to property management to real estate agents, landlords who might be dealing with someone who has a hoard going on in their rental. There is a huge need for understanding that hoarding actually is a mental health situation. It isn't just a stuff situation. And that there is a way to work through that through something called harm reduction, and just focusing on how do we make this space safe for that person. So basically my goal is to really bring awareness to this issue and share with people what it's like and how we can help and how we can look at this in a different way. So again, my company is homesforliving.com, and I look forward to connecting with you and talking with you, emailing, chatting, however you're comfortable, and just helping you or your family figure out what's a good way to go. So thank you so much for listening, and I will be back soon with the first video, which will be the value of you. Thank you so much.